All right, so this is the multi-step equation. I'm going to show you how to think through a hard equation, and then we'll do some easier ones. So when you're doing a multi-step equation, the first thing you have to do is find the parentheses. Parentheses are always first, and when you have parentheses, you want to use the distributive property. So the first thing we're going to do is distribute. Oops, left out the U. All right, so we're going to distribute. So that's what you want to do. Make it a little bit smaller so you can see that. All right, so the distributive property means you're going to be multiplying whatever is physically touching the outside of the parentheses. Remember, the sign goes with it. So this case is a positive 2. In this case, it will be a negative 4. And I'm going to distribute it through the parentheses. Now, because I don't have the numbers here, I am going to place the 1s in front of the x's just so you do not forget to multiply them. All right, so when we distribute, it's going to be 2 times 1x. That's 2x. Just write it right below it because that's where it goes. That's what I just took care of. Then 2 times 3, that's 6. All right, this doesn't have anything, but I do have to bring it down. And I would distribute again. Negative 4 times 1, negative 4x. Negative 4 times negative 6. Notice I took the sign with it. So negative 4, negative 6, positive 24. Then again, I'm going to minus, and I am going to go ahead and put that 1 in there just because I don't want to forget that there. Sometimes if I don't put the 1, I forget it. All right, so the next step is always to combine like terms and on the same side. Okay, so my next step, we're going to put combine, but it's going to be on the same side. So I'm going to look at the left side and the right side individually and kind of cover up the other side. So I'm going to be looking at the left side first. So I'm going to go ahead and combine the like terms. So what is a like? Okay, so these are alike. 2x and 2x are alike because they both have an x. This one doesn't have another number without a variable, so there's no like term. I am going to do the 2x plus 2x first just because the 2x was first. Had the 6 been first, I would have brought it down. But since the 2x is first, I'm going to go ahead and do 2 plus 2, which is 4x. So those I just completed. I just got those canceled because I added them together. Then you just bring down what you have left over, the equal sign. And now I'm going to look at the right-hand side the same way. Do I have anything that's alike on that side? And again, I have a x with an x, so I have a negative 4x and a negative 1x. And notice I took the signs with them. So on the same side, you're going to use the same sign, okay? So remember, same sign. We don't do inverse at this time because we're not going across the equal sign, okay? No inverse. All right, so negative 4x minus 1x, that's a negative 5x. Then just bring down the plus 24. And again, negative 4x minus 1x, negative 5x. Then bring down what you haven't used. All right, so now you have an equation. So this is where we're going to start combining like terms across the equal sign. And this is what's going to be new today. It's going to be actually moving things across the equal sign. So technically, normally before we would have a two-step equation here. But when you have to cover up the variable and you have two of them, you have to go ahead and get them together first. So I'm going to go ahead and get the x on the right side to the left. It does not matter which way you move them, as long as once you move it, everything else goes the opposite direction. I always move the x to the left for the reason that I know what's coming up next, and it makes it easier if you'll move it to the left. So I am going to take this one that's on the right, and I'm going to move it to the left. Remember, we have sides. So now I'm going to take the x and move it to the opposite side. So I will use opposite sign. And whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Okay? So this becomes 0x, and 0 times anything is 0. So it's going to be gone. So I am doing 4x plus 5x, which is 9x. Bring down the plus 6. Bring down the equals. Nothing here, so I'm just bringing down the 24, and it's positive, so I don't have to bring the sign. Had it been negative, I would have had to bring the sign. Okay, so what we just did here was move variable. Now I'm going to put to the left side. That doesn't mean you always have to move it to the left, but that's what I usually will do, is move it to the left side. And when you move, you always use addition and subtraction, not multiplication or division. It's addition and subtraction. All right, so the last step is a two-step. Now, this is what we've been working on. You should be able to solve a two-step without any help, but hopefully we'll do this very easily. So the last step here is to solve a two-step. Now, if you remember how to solve a two-step, find the variable, cover it up. Whatever is on the same side with your finger, you're going to get rid of it by doing the opposite. Remember, opposite side, when we're adding and subtracting, that is. And then you bring down the 9x, bring down the equals, bring down the answer to that. The last step is always to divide by the number with the variable. The number with the variable is 9, so I'm going to divide both sides by 9. That doesn't mean it'll always be the smaller number, by the way, so do watch that. So you should have x equals 2. All right, so all of the pieces you just did broke up a multi-step equation, but you should be able to do them pretty easily. All right, now you have some more notes. I'm going to go ahead and let you write this down. Variables on both sides. So you just did a multi-step equation. Probably won't have any that are that hard. You may see a bonus on the test. You may see a couple of them, but for the most part, they're not going to be that difficult. So I do want to do some examples of those simpler ones. So what we're going to be doing is just moving the variables across the equal sign. What happens when you have variables on both sides? All right, so again, I'm going to tell you to take the variable that's on the right and move it with the variable on the left. Remember, I have a negative 1x. Always put your ones in so you don't forget it. So on a move, I will use opposite sign. So this is the negative 7x. So I'm going to add 7x to both sides. Now, I will tell you before you start an equation, you do want to look for parentheses first and be like, okay, I don't have any. Then you want to look for like terms on each side individually. Okay. So there was no like terms individually on each side. So then you're going to look for the like terms or the variable, move the variable to the same side. And again, to me, that's the left side. Move the variable to the same side. And then you will just solve a two-step. So I went ahead and I started on move to the same side. So I'm moving this variable to the same side as the other variable. So I'm going to add 7x to both sides. So this gives me 7 minus 1 is 6x. Bring down plus 2. Bring down the 8. I'm going to raise it up just a tad. Now you have a two-step. Cover up your x. Get rid of the number that's on the side with your finger by making it 0. Bring down what was under your finger. Do the math. And then divide by the number with the variable. Well, I'm going to do one more, then I'm going to let you try some. Again, you'll want to just pause the video. All right, let's try this one in orange. We like to have different colors, right? So let's go ahead and get our like terms together. So again, first thing we do is identify that we don't have parentheses. We don't have like terms on either side individually, right? This is a number, this is a variable, number, not like terms. But I do have a variable on the right and the left, so I do want to move the one from the right to the left. Okay, so that leaves me with 2x, because 9 minus 7 is 2. Bring down the negative 7. Remember to bring the sign with it. And then this is 0, and I'm left with the negative 11. Again, bring that sign with it. This sign is linked to that one to the left. So the number is linked to the sign. All right, now we have a two-step. Again, cover it up. Whatever's happening on your finger, you'll do the opposite. So it's negative 7, so I add 7 to both sides. You're left with a 2x equals a negative 4. Divide both sides by 2, the number with the variable. So x is going to equal negative 2. All right, so I do want you to try these. I'll go ahead and let you see the next ones. Go ahead and try them. So write them down, try them, pause your video, and then just come back and check to see how you did. All right, so what you're going to do is go to, again, check to see, do you have parentheses? No. Do you have like terms on each side? No. So you're going to move the variable on the right to the left by subtraction. My pen didn't want to work. Make sure you write it down so you can see the math. So I'm going to bring down the 16. Haven't done anything with that. Working it left to right. Now I'm going to do negative 2 minus 5. If you don't know how to do that, grab a calculator and then bring down the 9. You now have a two-step. So I'm going to get rid of a positive 16 by subtracting. And you're left with a negative 7x equals a negative 7. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 7. You should have gotten x equals 1. All right, next one I'm probably write a little smaller because I'm about out of room down here on this page. Again, parentheses, nope. Like terms on each side, nope. Variable on both sides, yes. So I'm going to move the variable on the right to the left. Okay, some math teachers tell you to move the smaller of the two. So it's up to you. If you'd rather do that, that's fine. I will always tell you to move it to the left because I know what's coming up next. All right, so 2 minus 5 is a negative 3x. Bring down what you haven't used, bring down the equal, bring down what you haven't used, and then you have 0. I now have a 2-step, cover the variable, get rid of what's on the same side of the equal sign as your finger. That becomes 0. This becomes 6. Then divide both sides by the number with the variable. So x equals negative 2. Remember, if you have any questions, let me know.